Yo, you made it. It's your favorite comic on the rise, Melvin Williams, and you are officially tuned into the Comedy Chatter Podcast. If you've been searching for a pod that talks all things comedy, as well as kick it with today's nationally touring and headlining comedians, then this is the podcast for you.
What's good people? Melvin Williams here, back at you with another episode of the Comedy Chatter Podcast. Episode 11, we are moving right along. Thank you guys so much to people that have been tuning in and downloading and streaming and YouTubing and SoundCloud and all that good stuff, checking out the pod. Man, I appreciate y'all so much, man. This is, like everybody, I say the same thing every time, and this is a labor of love. I ain't getting no money from this, no nothing. I just enjoy talking about comedy. I enjoy doing comedy. I enjoy hitting stages. But more importantly than that, I enjoy putting this content out there for you guys to listen to. So thank you very much for continuing to get down with the podcast. This go around, man, this is a very special podcast to me, man. I told myself, here's the 11th episode. I've done 10, interviewed some super dope comedians, man. Everybody from Rodney Perry, Dean Edwards, the one and only Roy Wood Jr. You guys go back and archive some of these, man, and check them out, man, and listen to them. I got them on Libsyn and SoundCloud and all that good stuff, man. Check them out if you haven't heard them. But, yeah, man, I've done some special stuff, interviewed some special comedians, but this is by far one of my most special episodes. I call this the Gone But Not Forgotten episode. And I'm going to, get a chance to talk about and, just kind of talk about some comedians that are no longer with us, some comedians that have passed on, but definitely some comedians that have shaped and influenced my life and influenced my comedy career and just giving me some really good laughs over the years. And even though they're no longer here, I still find myself today just being able to do kind of so much stuff is archived now, and they got it on YouTube and they got Pandora, and you can just kind of go and listen to these comedians. And even though they're not with us anymore, I'm still I find myself on a daily basis crying, laughing. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more about some comedians just have me literally in tears laughing. And also comedians that have just shaped and molded, my comedy journey. So I'm just going to, jump right into, also usually do a segment of my own, clip, giving you guys some of my content and some of my, me rocking on stage. I usually do that every episode. But I'm not going to do that this go around because, like I said, I got some amazing content and amazing clips from some of these comedians that, like I said, are no longer with us, man. But it's my favorite, my favorite indeed. I'll go ahead and start with this disclaimer. The content that you hear and the clips that you hear, I do not own the rights to. You guys have obviously, once you hear it, you'll say, oh yeah, I've heard that before, or I've seen that, I got this stuff straight off YouTube, I'm gonna be honest. I got it straight off of YouTube. I was able to kind of, finesse a little bit on my laptop and figure out a way to find out how to, get these clips to where they sound pretty good. And once I did that, hey, it was downhill from there. I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and make this Gone But Not Forgotten episode. And even though I don't have these comedians here to interview, I'm going to chat about them one by one and play some of their content, man. And we're going to get a chance to laugh together because the clips that I have are very, very funny. And I'm giggling now, man, because these comedians were definitely amazing comics and very funny individuals. I'm going to start off with a comedian that is near and dear to my heart. People, if you've been tuning into my podcast, you know how special this comic is to me because I damn near mention his name every episode. He was somebody, I'll keep it real, he was somebody that I wasn't feeling at first. Like when I first got hip to him, I was like, I'm not really feeling his style. I'm not really feeling the stuff that he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? I was just kind of like, everybody, I heard people saying that he was good and this, that, and the other. But, my first experience, I think I had seen maybe a Showtime special, 30 minutes. And it just, the stuff he was talking about, just none of it I was identifying with, none of it I was identifying with. And I was just kind of like, this dude is really not all that funny. I didn't like his name either. I'm going to keep it real. Did not like his name. And I was just like, like, it's funny how fickle comedy is too. Like if somebody walks on stage, you can just you could tune them out just by the way they look, by the way their voice is, like you said, like I just said, by the way their name, like the name that they have. So that's how fickle comedy is. But a chance encounter with my man Dean Edwards, the one and only Dean Edwards, who I said was my first guest of this podcast. I was just hanging with him in the green room one night when he came up to the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. Shout out to the Comedy Showcase. Everybody know that's my home club and where I get down when I do these interviews, most of them anyway. We were just chatting about comedians, and he just mentioned, hey man, you guys didn't see Patrice O'Neal? You haven't hip to him? And I remember saying, you know what? Yeah, I did see like a Showtime special of his, but he really didn't do anything for me. And Dean Edwards looked at me like I was crazy. He was like, excuse me? He's like, I beg your pardon? He didn't do anything for you. And I was like, yeah, he just wasn't really all of it. He was like, man, dude. He was like, that guy is brilliant. And he used the word brilliant. And that, me, an up-and-coming comedian, I was just kind of like, damn, like he used the word brilliant. So that means this guy is not just funny, but brilliant. He's like, he said, I suggest you go back and you check out some of his stuff. And I was like, okay, I will do that, because I respect Dean. Dean, he's, I listen to his podcast all the time, For the Mucking Protocol. You guys, shout out to that. If you guys aren't hip to Dean Edwards, man, and his podcast, hey, Dean, I'm telling them to listen to you, bro. You supporting me, so I'm supporting you. Go ahead and listen to Dean's podcast. But, man, he told me that I got to go back and listen to this cat that they call Patrice O'Neal. And, man, I was better for it. I thank Dean every time I talk to him. I say, Dean, thank you so much for telling me to go back and actually, give this guy another chance, because he was absolutely right. Patrice O'Neal is brilliant. His comedy is what his comedy does for me. What his comedy did for me is it allowed me to say, you know what? Like fuck everything. Like fuck everything. That's what Patrice O'Neal seemed like he did when he got on stage. Fuck everything. Like fuck everybody. Like you're here to entertain yourself. You know what I mean? There's a power in that. Like I'm on stage right now, not necessarily for you guys, but I'm here for me. I'm here to enjoy myself, because I enjoy comedy as well. If you guys laugh, cool. That's cool. But for the most part, I'm here to just enjoy what it is that I do. And there's a power in that, man. And he was the first guy that I just kind of started seeing, like, if he bombs, if he doesn't bomb. Like, he taught me. I think I listened to an interviewer one day. He said, you know what? If I'm bombing up on stage, he was like, I'm not bombing. Like, we all are bombing. We're all going to fucking die together. I remember hearing that shit and laughing so hard, because he was like, hey, everybody thinks like the comedian is bombing. He's like, no, I'm taking you guys over the fucking cliff with me. And that shit made me so, like, I was like, damn, he's right. He was like, I'm not just the only one, but we all are going into the abyss, like, right now. And it was just stuff like that, man. And then when I just hear like some of his classic stuff, before his untimely death on Opie and Anthony, that's when I really fell in love with him. Because here were these, shock jock comedian, white guys that would, have this show and this platform, but their best shit, without a doubt. Like they would interview all types of other people and have other great comedians come sit in, but their best shit by far was when Patrice decided to wake up early in the morning and come down to the station and I'm telling you, man, just classic shit, dude. Like, there's so much stuff on YouTube, man, where y'all can listen to it, Patrice. But the Opie and Anthony stuff is for real. And I can honestly say, man, that this cat made me a better comedian, man. Just listening to him and, just feeling him, you know what I'm saying? His on stage like presence and his persona, like he didn't give a fuck. He reminds me a lot of Biggie Smalls, like the rapper Biggie Smalls, because everybody didn't really You know what I'm saying? People, you know, Biggie was be the first to tell you, hey, black and ugly as ever. But then, however, though, you know what I'm saying? He stayed Gucci down to the socks. You know what I mean? That's the way Patrice O'Neal is. Like, he ain't the best looking dude to look at. He ain't, you know, big, you know, out of shape, blah, blah, blah. But hey, on the comedy, on the stage, hey, he was Gucci down to the socks. Not what he had on, but I'm just talking about the way as powerful as he was on stage. That was an analogy. So yes, man, this guy made me a better comedian, man. I recently looked at an interview where Mr. Tony Rock, you know, Chris Rock's brother, everybody knows him. He's a great stand-up in his own right. But they were talking about, you know, like comedy, and then just kind of the best of all time came up. And he asked him, you know, he asked Tony to give him his list. And I love Tony because Tony always keeps it real. He's not that comedian or not that guy. Oh, well, you know, everybody's great. No. He gave them motherfuckers his top 5. And Patrice O'Neal was 5. And when I heard that, I was amazed because I was just kind of thinking, oh, you know what? Patrice is like my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like Patrice, nobody else. But when I saw, like, that this dude, Tony Rock, you know, gave Patrice O'Neal, like, top 5 all time, I knew, man. And, of course, you know, like, his untimely death, man, I heard that, you know, a lot of big wigs showed up to his funeral and stuff. And, you know, so Patrice, you know, he wasn't just my guy. Like, believe me, everybody that experienced Patrice and knew Patrice and got a chance to laugh with Patrice and, you know, hang out with Patrice knows how amazing that he was as a person and then also as a comedian. Shout out to his girl, you know, I guess, you know, your wife. I'm gonna go ahead and give her that title and status because anybody that knows their relationship knows how close they were. Von DiCarlo Brown. I tried my best to reach out to her on Twitter and also on Instagram. She's a very funny comedian in her own right. So yeah, Miss Von, I tried to reach out to you and just ask you for permission to do this segment. You never responded, and so I just kind of said, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And put a clip of Patrice. And this is, like I said, I don't own the rights to any of this stuff, but you know, stuff that's you know, public knowledge and public domain because I got it right off of YouTube. So yes, this first clip that I'm gonna let you guys hear is from the one and only Patrice O'Neal. It was on the Opie and Anthony show, and this shit like literally had me in tears when Patrice O'Neal decided to sort of revamp the way the states go nowadays because, you know, like he's like, just some states are just null and fucking void is basically what he was saying. Like some states we just don't need. Like there's certain states that are big and certain states that are amazing that we need. He said, but other ones in the United States of America are just like blah. Like why the fuck do we have them? And so he did this reconstruction of the United States of America, and the shit just had me crying, laughing. And I was like, hey man, everybody, whoever hasn't heard this yet needs to hear it. So that's the first clip that I'm gonna give you guys. Patrice O'Neal.
I need to see a map because I'll tell you what doesn't. I've been there. It's
makes a lot of sense.
It's just like subdivisions. Texas gets Louisiana, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Kansas, and Colorado. Sucked in by fucking Texas.
One big Texas.
California, which would be Los Angeles, gets Nevada, Arizona, and Utah. Colorado gets sucked in by Texas. Colorado don't get, because Denver is a bad motherfucker, but it's just not enough. Washington and Oregon split. Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Idaho will now be called Portland.
Wow, that's huge.
Now we have
moving on.
We have Chicago. Okay. Illinois Chicago will be now consist of Indiana, Ohio, Iowa, and Missouri. Okay?
Yeah. What about Michigan and Wisconsin?
Michigan's in there. All of that is now called Chicago.
All right.
New York will be Pennsylvania. No.
What happened to...
Wait a minute. No. New York will be...
Jersey,
New
Connecticut.
York will be New England and Connecticut.
Holy shit.
So... Fuck.
Wait, start from
No, wait.
You got this figured out. Go to the top. Go to Maine and work your way down now. You got the Boston thing figured
Because
out.
New York is so important.
Yes.
It
Doesn't
should
New York
be as
grab up?
It should be as big as swallowing up.
Hold on, I got it.
Texas.
I got it too.
I
New
got
York
it.
should eat Ohio and Michigan.
And Rhode Island and Connecticut and
Right.
Jersey.
And Maine.
You give us
Boston.
Rhode Island.
And let's take New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, as New England and
Right.
Boston.
Yeah, you just take that shit over.
We're taking fucking parts of Canada.
Professor Patrice, what
Yes.
happens to the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry?
They got to get together.
Yeah,
And wait.
How's that gonna happen?
We can have. Wait a minute. We can still have sports. I'm talking about. Look it. There's going to be some shit going on. And then we have to maybe wait a second, because football, basketball, all these things are old too. We should start to develop some new, more powerful sports.
More powerful.
Some fucking sports,
For example.
that where these 7 motherfuckers that
Big
play
ass,
or whatever, it's some major shit
Yeah,
going on.
big
And it'll
time.
be, we can, instead of 11 guys playing football, let's have 33 on each side. Let's fucking
How big's the field?
humongous, nigga. Imagine how big the one in Texas is gonna be. We can just turn Iowa into a stadium.
Desperate sports. All right, so New York takes everything above it, and Jersey.
And we make Miami will be Alabama.
Georgia.
It will be South Carolina. It will be Tennessee. And North Carolina gets to survive. North Carolina will be part of D.C. So D.C. now will be made of Virginia, North Carolina, West Virginia, and Kentucky. That will be called Charlotte. Or no, D.C. Town. That would be
DC Town.
D.C. Town.
DC Town.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
in. I like this.
Yes.
I like big change like that.
Oh, my God.
That's good.
Can you imagine this?
I'm in.
This actually
When do we vote on this
And we
referendum?
erase this shitty fucking
just
these
a-
lines.
All those imaginary lines have to go.
All of that
stupid.
We
shit.
make new imaginary lines because we can.
And you know what? And we shut down all those shitty highways, those halfway. It's just a big 95 that
Major.
shoots through a big ass 580, a big ass 1, and you fucking deal with that, and you make the fucking highways 50 lanes, and that's the infrastructure.
This next comedian I'm about to give you guys had such a short stint in the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? His day in the sun was cut short due to his untimely death, unfortunately. But the mark that he left, before he passed, was a mark like none other. I always think about if he, didn't pass away when he did, and he was able to continue to do comedy for at least the next 10 years. If he'd have gave us like 10 more years, like, dude, some of the comedians that we've heard, like it's almost like we talk about rappers. This is my second rap analogy. But if Tupac and Biggie hadn't passed when they passed, and they could have kept on rapping, man, there's certain rappers you wouldn't have heard from. Like these dudes that's kind of like out nowadays. Like some of these guys wouldn't they would have taken rap and hip hop to such a level that we wouldn't have got a chance to hear a lot of these bullshit rappers that we hear nowadays. That is what this this cat would have done if he'd been allowed a little more time. I can honestly say this. Like I have comedians, my greatest of all time I'll get to at the end of this podcast, but there's no comedian that's made me laugh harder than this guy right here. This guy right here, man, I'm talking about just walking out on stage, you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh just him walking out on stage. He's gonna give you something. You're not gonna know what you're gonna get yet, but once he gets to talking and once he gets into his set, man, I'm talking about tears. I can literally listen to anything that he has, any movie. He got a chance to do a few movies, And any, like, you know, I had a cassette tape of his that I freaking wore out. Like, I still got the tape. None of the freaking letters are on it. Like, none of the letters are on the tape because I wore the shit out so bad. Like, I listen to it every day. I know every line. Like, this comedian, man, I got a chance to see his HBO one night stand. He got a chance to do one of those, and he did it in his hometown, Chicago. I think, as a matter of fact, it's definitely on YouTube because the clip that I'm going to give you guys is one that I got off of YouTube. But, hey, Mr. Robin Harris. If like I said, there's certain, you know, guys that, even comics, it's even certain comics that don't know the name. They're like, Robin Harris, never heard of him. I was like, hey, like, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't know about Robin Harris. And I'm talking about all comedians. He, you know, like, it's not a race thing. You know, it was a black comedian. No, this guy will make anybody laugh anywhere, anytime. And he was freaking hilarious. And, you know, like I said, he got a few movies like House Party. He stole the show in that. Mo Better Blues. He was a comic. He was playing a nightclub comic in that. He was hilarious in that. Do the Right Thing, like his, you know, Spike Lee tapped him and said, hey, man, we putting him in the movie. And Spike just literally came to one of his shows at the Comedy Act Theater in Los Angeles. Somebody brought him down and, you know, wanted to show, you know, Spike, hey, Spike's looking for some, you know, some talent for Do the Right Thing. He saw that dude, man, on stage one time and was like, hey, he's in the movie. You know what I mean? That's how funny Robin Harris is. Like, hey, sight unseen, man. You're going to see him and you're going to be like, hey, we got to have this guy. So this clip that I have is, like I said, from his one night stand. Some of the funniest shit I've ever heard, seen. Like, man, he just had you in tears, man. And, you know, he was famous for Bebe's Kids. I didn't put that on there, but he's got so much other shit that people don't even hear. If you want to do yourself, you know, some comedic service, definitely listen to his tape. He had a cassette tape, or I'm sure it's like an album DVD now. I think it's on YouTube as well. But listen to that in its entirety, man. Robin Harris. So that's the next comedian I'm going to give you. Enjoy this clip from Mr. Robin Harris. Definitely gone, but not forgotten.
Boy. I'm feeling good, y'all. I was out back smoking me a drink. That's what I said. Test two, baby. Damn. All right, it's good here. And I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a drunk. Alcoholic got to go to them goddamn meetings. And you know, don't you hate that shit? Soon as you go somewhere, everybody's just begging. Put him in. You know, like you go to the gas station, put him in. Let me help you with that. Motherfucker, help me with the car note. Help me with something. Yeah, that shit piss you off, don't it? Boy, just fucking with you, man. I want my family at home starving. We ought to go home and be with them. What you ought to do? Fucking with me? Man. Then they like to ask you this shit. Hey, brother man. Brother man. Yeah, brother man. You got any spare change? Hey, ain't that a bitch? I want to know what the fuck is spare change. Get your ass a spare job. That way you'll have some spare change. Shit. Oh. Let's tell you, I don't want to work for the white man. Oh, but you beg for the black man. That a bitch. Boy, oh boy, I had to fix my own drink, cause you know you can't, cause you know here, you know you can't get drunk in here. I remember the last time I worked out here, I had 10 drinks. Trying my best to get fucked up. I was driving back to the hotel, I swerved a little bit and the police stopped me. You know how they do. Pulled me over talking about, yeah, what you been doing? Drinking. I just been drinking, that's what the fuck I've been doing. You know how police, you know how they do. You know. How many drinks you had? I said 10. He says, where you been drinking at? Sit down at the Vic. He said, well, go on. So you can't be drunk. These police are stupid out here, too. I couldn't believe it. The police pulled me over because I passed him. I couldn't believe that. Talk about what you passed me for. I said, motherfucker, I'm in a hurry. That's why I passed you. That's why I passed you, Mr. Officer of the goddamn law. They talk about her. Yeah. You got any dope in the car? I said, no, I was at home with the gun. That bitch. And in California, they got some dumb police too, y'all. Oh, I had one so dumb one night, stopped me, made me fill out the ticket. How about, you know how fast you going, put it on there. Oh, write it on there. I wrote his name on the ticket. Now his ass got a warrant. Shit, yeah. Well, that's why I got all this fucking crime, y'all. The police ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing. Don't get nobody no time. Serious. I know y'all read in the paper where this man broke into these people's house and fell asleep in there. Talking about he tired. I'd have woke his ass up with a 38. Gotta go. Serious, go to jail. I be just like it. Hey, I be just like them countries over in Pakistan. What they do? You steal something overseas, cut off your hand off them, don't they? Judge don't want to hear shit. No. Just show me the hand you stole it with. That's all I want to hear. Gotta go. I can see them guys giving fire now. How you doing, home? What's going on? Got me last week, yeah. They don't give me no more with this one. Shit, man. They need me to be the president. Anything I fucking do, death. Run a stoplight, death. I ain't gonna do it no more. I know. You ain't gonna do it no more. Come on, sit down. Shit. I have public hanging this. What happened to Bill? Stop. Yeah, gotta go. That's it. Shit, yeah. I'm serious, man. Talking about what they say they don't have no death penalty because they can't find nobody to pull the switch. Shit. I'll pull that motherfucker. I wouldn't even take no lunch hour. Gotta go. Scoot your big ass over. Come on. 2 at a time. Get in, 2 at a time. Get on. Scoot over. No. Back. Serious. That's right.
All right, now this next comedian that I'm going to give you guys, everybody knows. Everybody knows he was world-renowned. He was, at one point, he was, the highest paid television sitcom star. He got his start, kind of in the chitlin circuit, though. He came up, hard times, man. He was doing things like, working as a porter, on a train, you know what I'm saying? He was doing all that stuff before he finally kind of found his calling and his voice, which was, being on stage. The best thing ever happened to him. Like I said, he started out chitlin circuit and just kind of, he had to make dirty party records and all of that stuff, and people, only black, people that would, be able to, buy records and, kind of sneak and listen to them in their houses and their homes, knew of him. Only people that would, go out to, shows like, in black neighborhoods and all that. Those were the only places that he got a chance to perform. And so that's kind of how he made a name for himself initially. But like I said, the best thing ever happened to him when they decided to do a sitcom based on a British TV show called Steptoe and Son. And it was basically, the gist of it was a father and son, in business together, just existing, you know what I'm saying? And that love and that support that they had for each other. Also the beef and the trials and the strife and the stress that comes with a father and son living together and doing all these things. So obviously that you guys know by now that show turned into, and once it got here in America, it turned into Sanford and Son. And the comedian that I'm talking about is none other than Red Foxx. Once they gave him this vehicle, hey, he ran with it, and it was without a doubt one of the funniest things that have ever been on television, in my opinion. And I'm just so happy. A guy like him could have struggled like forever in the chitlin circuit, and just people just only giving him those type of gigs. But for them to take that chance on him, NBC was, huge at that point. NBC, we all know how big NBC is now. If I was to get a show on NBC right now, like, people would be like, holy shit. Like, that's groundbreaking. How did Meldon pull that off? So back then, this guy went from straight chitlin circuit, nobody really knew him except people in the black community, to the NBC, and wound up, like I said, being one of the biggest stars in America, and thus, the world. He was, huge. Everybody knew Red Foxx. So, Sanford and Son, the clip that I have for y'all, I had to do. I could have got some stand-up from him because he was a, excellent stand-up, as we all know. But the clip that I have, and like I said, I do not own the rights. I don't, whatever emails and shit I get from this, like, hey, man, you used footage of, hey, whatever. Like I said, I reached out to people to try to get stuff and didn't get it. I wanted very badly to do this episode, and so I said, hey, I'm just going to use stuff. Hey, I whatever backlash I get, I'll take care of that later. But I'm doing this episode, and like I said, I'm going to reiterate, I don't own the rights to any of this material, but it's just helping out my, I could have just sat here and talked about these comedians, but these clips are helping out my episode. So this is none other than the great Red Foxx as Fred Sanford on the very popular hit TV show Sanford and Son. And I believe this clip is him jabbing with Aunt Esther. Everybody knows, LaWanda Page, the great. She was a great comedian in her own right. But yes, like I'm talking about, anytime I still watch Sanford and Son now to this day. I got the whole collection at the crib. You know what I'm saying? All the seasons, man, and it's just funny shit, man. Just real funny shit. So enjoy this clip from Mr. Red Foxx as Fred Sanford on Sanford and Son. Gone, but definitely not forgotten.
My left hand is itching, and that's a sure sign of money.
Aunt Esther.
My left hand lied to me.
Hello, Lamont.
How you doing, Aunt Esther?
Oh, I'm just fine, except for these broken down knees and this crick in my back, spots in front of my eyes, blood pressure rising. Other than that, I'm just fine.
Esther, what do you tell people when you're sick?
How are you, Fred?
Well, I ain't half as dead as you. If I felt like you and looked like you, I'd go down to Forest Lawn Cemetery and hang around a while.
Would you like a cup of coffee, Aunt Esther?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, squeeze out a few of them grounds, son. We might have another cup left.
Down out again, huh, Fred? You were a deadbeat the day my sister married you, and you still a deadbeat today.
Listen, Esther, now you know good and well the day I married your sister, I was loaded.
Yeah, you was loaded all right. You were so drunk you fell on the preacher.
But I had to get drunk to look at your ugly family.
Don't you talk about my family.
I'll talk about your family. Listen, for years, people going around saying, black is beautiful. They took one look at your family and said, hold everything.
Well, that's something you wouldn't understand. We have inner beauty.
Yeah, what?
Inner beauty.
Well, you better put your liver where your face is.
Fred Sanford, you are crude and evil, and most of all, you stupid.
How'd you like one across your lips?
Come on, try.
Come on, now.
Come on, Stumpy.
Stumpy, I'm tall enough to give you 3 of these in your nose. Come on.
Oh, no, you won't.
Yes, I will.
Oh, no, you won't. Oh, no, you won't.
Stop it! Would you two stop it?
Tell us.
I'm surprised at you. You mean to tell me you'd hit a lady?
No, I wouldn't hit a lady, but I'd hit her.
Here's your coffee, Aunt Esther.
Thank you, Lamont.
Why you always come around here and want to pick a fight with me, Esther?
I didn't come around here to pick no fight. I came here to ask you a favor.
Well, what is it?
I'd like to use your place for our Sunday morning Bible meeting.
Who, you mean you and all them cackling sisters you always be with? This is a junkyard, not a hen house.
All we planned to do was to drink some tea, discuss a few chapters of St. Paul, eat some homemade cookies. The ladies were going to contribute for refreshments.
Well, why do your group want to meet here in my junkyard?
Well, number one, we tried to bring the Spirit to those who need it most.
Uh-huh.
And number two, I felt it would be a good idea for Lamont's sake.
Keep going.
And number three, the places we usually meet in are unavailable.
Bingo.
Well, do we get it or don't we?
No, you don't get it. I mean, Esther, why you think you can come over here and I let you use my place?
I was moved by the words of the good book. He that asketh, receiveth. And he that seeketh, findeth. That's Matthew.
Well, you have asked it and been turned down it. Now find it someplace else it. That's Fred.
All right, Fred. But I feel sorry for Lamont. You've raised him to be a backslider just like yourself.
Who you calling a backslider, witch?
I'm calling you a backslider because you do not believe.
I believe I'm gonna knock you out of here. That's what I believe.
And what's more, you are evil-minded, selfish old man.
Listen, Hef, if you ain't out of here by the time I count to 3, I put a lump on your head, look like a wig on top of a natural on top of a wig.
And if you lay one hand on me, I'll unscrew your arm from your shoulder and beat your brains out.
And last, but certainly, and I mean certainly not least, without a doubt, my favorite comedian ever. This man bared his heart and his soul on the stage. Whenever he got on stage and performed, he bared his heart and his soul, and that in turn made it help him find his voice, number one, and then once he found his voice, he became special. You know what I mean? Most people today revere him as the greatest stand-up comedian of all time, and I'm one of those people. The stuff that he was able to do, like if you wanted to use an analogy, like compare him to Michael Jordan in basketball. Michael Jordan, he was the guy that they said had no weaknesses. You know what I mean? Like he could shoot, he could pass, he could rebound, he could block shots, he could play defense, he could score, he could do whatever he needed to do on a basketball court. Well, that was this gentleman. This gentleman could do it all. I mean, if you think about it, his physical comedy was top notch. He could just stand there and tell a joke. You know what I'm saying? His writing was top notch. Hell, he wrote for TV shows and for all types of other stuff. So this dude was great, and I'm sure that people will say that he also had other people that wrote for him, and that's true. But nobody could touch this guy when it came to performing on stage. Hell of a childhood, traumatic childhood when you think about the way he grew up. I mean, there's no way that I could think nowadays, and I know some traumatic stories, what I'm saying, of some kids, and maybe even some of my friends that came up. We all have our own tough stories and this, that, and the other of coming up. But I beg to differ that anybody that came up the way this guy did. I mean, he came up in a brothel, basically. And a brothel, for those who don't know, is basically a hoe house. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine you being a little boy and then your mother was, growing up as a prostitute. and, you know, turning tricks like in the crib that you grew up in. And your grandmother, which was her mother, was running the brothel. She was running the whole house. She was basically, having all types of Johns in the crib, and you know what I'm saying? But guess what? Hey, from what he said and what he told us, like, grandma definitely didn't pass him on the love. Like, she loved him up. She made sure that he knew that he could do some things and he was special. And he wound up, obviously growing up and getting tired of that life, and going his own in his own direction, and becoming a comedian and an entertainer, and hitting the stage and realizing that he was pretty good, realizing he can get some laughs, realizing that he was a funny man, realizing that people digging him. But there was one thing that was wrong in his eyes, and that was that he wasn't, being himself. He was basically being Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was hot back then, and so he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna be this clean comedian, and I'm gonna, wear these suits, and I'm gonna just, have my hair, kind of slicked down. I'm gonna basically be non-threatening, you know what I'm saying?" And it did well for him. He started, making some money, and people knew him, and he was having, acts in Vegas, and all this stuff was going well until he just finally had a breakdown and said, "You know what, this shit is not me," So after going out of commission for a while, he kind of resurfaced back at Cal Berkeley. From what I'm hearing, the story that I'm hearing, he resurfaced, and he looked a little different now. A little more militant. He had to instead of the fried dye laid to the side doing his hair, he just had the straight up "I'm black and I'm proud" afro now. He had the goatee, he had the beard, the mustache. You know what I'm saying? And his material fit that. His material, he was way more militant now. He actually talked about the childhood that I mentioned, about him growing up in a brothel. He talked about the winos that he would run into on a daily basis. He talked about the Johns and the prostitutes, and he made all of this pain into humor. And in doing that, he found his voice, and it was so much different than everybody else's. And to this day, most of the comedians that you see nowadays, like I said, not only do they revere him as the greatest of all time, but they're damn near knockoffs. They're like, "Hey, man, I saw this guy, and that's when I knew, hey, man, that's what I want to do." You guys already know at this point I'm talking about the one and the only Richard Pryor. My favorite stand-up comedian, like I said, ever. I watch Live on the Sunset Strip, damn near every week. It's definitely a ritual of mine before I go on stage. If I'm at home, if I'm at the crib, my apartment, and I know I'm about to go on stage, or I'm going on, doing the show, on top of me practicing in the mirror like I always do, I pop it in, man. I got the DVD. I pop it in, and I definitely check it out. And Richard is just a master that night. The clip that I have that I'm going to share with you guys right now is from the Sunset Strip. And, man, he had that red suit on, dude, and I'm talking about he was a master on stage that night. Live on the Sunset Strip just basically captured Richard Pryor to me in his entire essence. He had already had his accident, how he, kind of blew up for as his words, not mine, freebasing. But he had done that already. So imagine that, to burn up, to blow up, freebasing cocaine, damn near die from the third degree burns, come back, like live, come back, and then get on stage and talk about it. That was live at the Sunset Strip, on the Sunset Strip. And yeah, Richard Pryor was just unbelievable in this special. And that's one of the clips that I have for you guys, Richard Pryor live in the Sunset Strip. My favorite, without a doubt, gone, but definitely not forgotten.
Penitentiary, Gene Wilder, I did a movie. I went to, not me personally, I went to do a film in penitentiary. And I was up there 6 weeks, Arizona State Penitentiary. It was something. Oh, you're applauding for that? Arizona State Penitentiary real popular. Oh, man, it was strange because it's like 80% black people. And what's strange about that is that there are no black people in Arizona. I'm not lying, they bust motherfuckers in. And I was up there and I looked at all the brothers and it made my heart ache. You know, it's all these beautiful black men in the joint. Goddamn, warriors should be out there helping the masses. And I felt that way. I was real naive, right? In 6 weeks I was up there, I talked to the brothers, you know, and I talked to them. And thank God we got penitentiaries. I said, why did you kill everybody in the house? He guessed it. They was home. I mean, murderers. Do you hear me? Real live murderers. I thought black people killed people by accident. No, these motherfuckers was murderers. I met one brother, his name was J-Bo. Motherfucker lift weights, he was in charge of it. J-Bo, muscles every motherfucker. Where's my man? Muscle. He was doing a sentence, triple life. How in the fuck do you do triple life? I mean, if he die and come back, he got to go to penitentiary. Right? They say, fuck kindergarten, get your little old ass back in the penitentiary, motherfucker. You know what you did last time you was here. Gene Wilder loved to jump in the middle of the killers and start talking. Hi, guys, how you doing? I said, Gene, bring your ass on. What do you think they do to us if we were here, Rich? He said, fuck us. And Gene said, I'm not homosexual. Homosexual ain't got nothing to do with it. They don't fuck you because you like it. They just fuck you just to see that look on your face. I met one dude kidnap, murder 4 times. And I thought 3 times that was your ass, right? No. I said, what happened? I can't get your shit right. But I'm getting parole in 2 years, Brother Rich. I'm gonna fire up, you know. I got some contracts outside, you know what I mean? Let's see, yeah, I know what you mean. See, I wanna know when this motherfucker getting out, who he gonna be with, and if I see him in my neighborhood, I'm just gonna shoot the motherfucker. No, but I do a lot of shit now that I never did when I didn't have money. I didn't have the problems that I have now, like watching motherfuckers count it. I must drive my accountant crazy because I wake up at 3 in the morning and go, hey man, what the fuck, how much is it? What, prove it, bring it over. But it's 3 in the morning, fuck that, I want to see it now. And I got lawyers and shit. You know, lawyers are some expensive motherfuckers. I got a lawyer, first week, the motherfucker bought me a bill for $40,000. I said, motherfucker, I just met you. And lawyers, they don't get upset, right? God damn it, why do it? Don't worry. Everything will be all right. No, but I want to know why you got your budget. Take it easy. And you leave there feeling like an asshole, right? You've been going, what the fuck am I yelling about? They come, I'm just facing 47 years. Them motherfuckers will keep you out of penitentiary and out of a lot of courts. But it's gonna cost a lot. Some people must say, fuck it, I'll go to penitentiary. Because you motherfuckers cost too much. So I can do 10 years in the penitentiary and get off better than these 30 you're gonna put on me. I met some lawyers, right? I had a guy I'm suing. It's a black attorney was my brother, right on. He was beautiful, black brother. Right? The motherfucker took me hook, line, and sinker.
on dry land.
my man Rich said that motherfucker took him hook, line, and sailed on dry land. Oh my goodness. Oh man, Richard never gets old, man. Richard is eternal when it comes to this comedy thing, man. Once again, thank you guys so much for checking out the pod. So here we are, episode 11. I'm going to keep on cranking them out. You guys keep on listening, man. Continue to listen, subscribe, and support. Tell your friends. I appreciate all the support thus far. And I'm going to keep giving it to you, man. This episode was very near and dear to my heart, very important. I wanted to put it out there and just kind of do a tribute to some of the amazing comics who are no longer with us, but have helped shape and mold my comedy career and given me amazing laughs along the way. You guys stay tuned. I got some great comedians coming up, another great comedian next go around, and of course me, Meldon Williams. Y'all continue to listen, subscribe, and support. Take care.